You know, when I just moved from St. Anne to Kingston and started working at a bank in Ligani, a lot of people made the assumption that I attended a college in Kingston.
Yes.
You know, so they were quite surprised.
Because you would have to be a JC man, have that swag, right?
Right. You know, I dressed sharp then.
Yeah.
So that, you know, thank you. And, you know, just that interaction with clients from an early age, stage of my career, I knew that knowledge about what you're doing was important. And that hunger for knowledge for me in my career started when customers started asking about other things that the bank offered. And I was like, but each time I would have to leave and go ask somebody, you know, when I just started, what is this? And then I say, you know what? I'm going to put myself in a position to answer any question.
Yeah.
Any question that is thrown at me.
That's a high bar. It's a very ambitious goal.
Yes, it was. Yeah. So it took a lot of reading. Yeah. I took all of the brochures. I looked for the policies, and I prepared myself.
So you have to give yourself homework and really dig into the material.
So exactly, and none of the promotions that I got, I was on any cross training. I prepared myself for all of what happened.
So self-taught, self-driven, self-motivated,
knowing exactly which opportunities to go for. So that prepared me well for what I'm doing now.
So if this don't work out, you can be like a motivational speaker there.
It's something I've thought about. It's something I've thought about, to be honest with you, but you know, nothing before its time.
Yeah.
I do believe that, you know, you learn from other people's experiences. One of my early motivation of doing well was that I wanted my own money. I wanted to be able to do things that I couldn't do when I was, you know, or wanted to be able to just even further my own education.
Yes.
And I recognize that the more you know, the more you learn, is the more you're capable of, you know, advancing to what you really want to do, and you're able to offer more help. You know, you can't fill up somebody's cup from an empty cup. You know, you're also blessed so that you can bless somebody else. So it's important that you continuously learn. So for example, I lead a team now of retail, both service and sales, of over 30 persons. They're looking to me for guidance. And I'm capable of pulling from my long experience real scenarios that have happened, real for the clients as well, real scenarios that have happened. In 2008, when the crisis hit, I mean, everybody thought that this was it.
So as a retail salesman, like in a crisis like that, unprecedented or 100-year storm, what's the approach that you take to
the approach, at the time, you didn't know what was happening, but then you saw what unfolded.
Yeah. And
the same principles that we would have learned about investing, start investing early, and staying invested is really something that, if you look back in time, you know, persons have been, you know, talking about, and diversification.
Yes.
And when I look at clients who follow that strategy, they fared much better than persons who were investing against their own risk tolerance, because they didn't have the risk tolerance until the market turned in a different direction. It's not that they were speculating, but they felt that they had a particular risk tolerance, and they didn't. So listening to the advice of a qualified investment advisor can't be overstated.
Yeah.
Right? You have to trust an institution, and an institution such as Barita, with that deep research capacity and talent. You know, the advisors, one of my goals is to ensure that all of my advisors can stand before anybody and have the most meaningful conversation about their unique circumstance, because every client situation is different.
So this is important. So I mean, if we draw on those lessons from 08, because so we did the millennial money IQ piece, right? And you know, in it we were saying millennials, like, you know, they've seen the end of the world several times, right? So you had 08, as you were talking about, you know, just coming of age, and it's a global financial crisis, worse since the Depression, right? European debt crisis, and then you come to something like the coronavirus pandemic. So after 2008, we had this horrible recession, right? And you go through sovereign debt crisis, and now you have the pandemic, and then now here we are. People are talking about slowdowns again. People are talking about recessions again. So apply those same lessons, or I don't know if you have new lessons, right? But right now, how do you think we should be engaging the retail space given everything happening? So
the retail space is, we have to continue to be confident about what the strategy is. While you don't know what the future holds in any particular specific area, because there's always going to be something that's coming up. If you look, as you mentioned, immediately after we gotten over Corona to an extent in terms of the lockdowns and the restrictions, then came the Ukraine, which tells you that there's always going to be a reason not to invest.
Yes.
But if you're raising families and you have goals to achieve, there's always going to be a place for investing. So, and what you invest today is going to be what you're going to use in the future. People are going to need places to live. People are going to need food to eat. People still want to travel, and people still want to drive a nice car.
And the children.
And people will want to go to space eventually.
You want to go to space, by the way?
Not yet. So I say that to say, there is, once you're having your budget and investment amount,
yes,
don't let a crisis let you stop that.
And isn't it, and it's true that, I mean, I've spoken on this before, and I said, it's important to maintain your discipline in the crisis.
It cannot be understated.
Because a lot of time, a lot of the gains that you eventually reap down the road is because you maintain that discipline.
If you look at the statistics, the best performing month or week on any market is usually after the worst.
Yes.
Right? So if it is that you are serious about, making changes to your portfolio, look for when there's a crisis sometimes, and just review it. Okay, how am I positioned at this point in time? Am I in line with my goals? Am I taking advantage of what is out there? Yeah. And am I allowing the professionals to do their work? So, for example, we have managed funds. We have the capital growth fund. We have the income portfolio. We have the FX, and the real estate fund. No. Have you seen the return on the real estate fund?
I think everybody has seen the return.
Okay, I don't think everybody saw it.
It's a talk of the town, eh?
So over 600%, which means that you have to trust the people who are charged with investing the funds on your behalf, and touch base with a few clients to see how you feel after seeing such a phenomenal return on your investment. And that's why we invest. We invest for long-term gains.